Andy, Turkey Day is over, but still on tilt here. This is something. Some seriously tough to digest results this week in the National Football League. Um, you brought it up in the pre-show, but I'll bring it up again. Missing a late hit on a quarterback. It's rare. Usually they're pretty much, the refs are on that, especially with the star quarterbacks. You would think, Justin Herbert out of bounds getting hit, they'd be on that. Instead, it was a 15-yard penalty on Chargers.
That ref was right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he was standing on the white, looking right down the line. That was a little surprising. I know we were talking about that and comparing it to Josh Allen getting horse collared and instead getting assessed a freaking grounding penalty instead. Obviously, that was massive as well. But yeah, this has been a weird one. The Ravens have moved the ball pretty easily, but kind of have been stopped by. There's been a few penalties in this one as well. I feel like they've had a few penalties. They had 2 drives end on downs. I don't know, like the last one, I'm not going to count that as a down. It's the same way I'm not going to hold that interception against Herbert. Like Herbert threw a Hail Mary. That's life. But so far, my takeaways are Baltimore is getting whatever they want underneath. Baltimore is getting pretty decent pressure without bringing extra guys. And like, as I said to you off the air, I don't think we can just fix what's wrong with the defense for the Chargers at halftime. They're going to have to just figure something out on offense. They're going to have to outscore this Ravens team, and the Ravens probably should have more points. So they're going to have to put up 3 scores in the second half. I don't know what the changes are, with all the injuries, and it's been 10 weeks now, it feels like, without Williams, but people have caught on that you're going to throw it to Keenan 15 times. You're going to have to figure out some other stuff.
You got a total up? I know we're showing 23.5 here, but
let me see. Pull up Chris.
Doesn't seem like they're really interested in taking a bet on under 23.5, which would be my go-to. I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's really a solution here for the Chargers in comeback mode. I'll be honest. I think they're cooked. I think all the steam on the Chargers this week was hopeful. I wish I had bet Ravens at the best price possible and covered all my asses. But yeah.
Yeah, Ravens by 4, huh?
They're not letting me bet a second half under.
It's locked on Bookmaker. The total is locked. I'm going to pull up it online. I had a book turn off teasers for me this week. After I didn't even have that good of a week. Like Detroit kind of screwed things up, but I tried to put
Iowa and everything.
That's neither here nor there. The Iowa teasers were funny. Honestly, that's been such a thing with those low totals in college. It's like, oh, there's some angles here. This is silly. All right. Second half at BetOnline is 24. minus 115 to the under, minus 105 to the over.
Ravens get the ball first. I will tell you this: the Ravens' second half with the lead against the Bengals was really, really weird. In terms of conceptually what they were trying to do, they put Lamar Jackson in harm's way a bunch. A lot of run. We're gonna sustain drives on the ground. I think if that's what they tack into, I don't know that that's going to work. So that should give opportunities to the Chargers here in comeback mode. 24 is up. I'm playing under 24. In there.
119. Little span. Actually, I'm going to play to bet online then if it's 115. I'm with you. Under 24. It feels like we haven't really seen the best of either team here. And if the Ravens are continuing to use the same game plan, but not really going deep, nothing over the top. Herbert's launched a couple, but I mean, that one hung up there for so long that was it Marcus Williams? Who's the other safety there? 32.
Stone.
I think it was Williams came across just from this middle of the field. He had enough time to run all the way over there. Marcus Williams, 32. And both guys were there to knock it down.
Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, and Arthur Maulet all have a pass defense so far tonight.
Yeah, and B-Rad has a good point. He says he can't support an underlook. Yeah, this is not a strong. I'm not excited about this. This could get chargery. There have been how many fumbles and turnovers in this one already?
Well, 2 fumbles and one Hail Mary pick.
Yeah, the Hail Mary pick shouldn't count, but there have been the two fumbles lost.
Actually, you know what? If I were Brandon Staley, I would coach my team to recover fumbles because you've lost 2 and you didn't recover the one for the other guys. So
get better at that.
0-3. Yeah. Maybe he is next up.
Fumble luck. Yeah. There's been a little of that. I think we're getting pretty close to knowing where the openings will be for coaches next year. Reich feels super likely.
Heck, if you were going to run back one Ravens running back, the answer is not that complicated. There is one guy, his name is Keaton Mitchell, and he has way more juice than Justice Hill or Gus Edwards tonight for whatever it's worth. Keaton Mitchell also involved in the passing game with his 1 catch for 14 yards. I would expect this as a Mitchell second half. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like they went with more justice. Did Gus have a penalty? It felt like he had like a holding penalty early on, and I don't know if that put him in the doghouse. But on these other drives, look at this field goal drive. It was.
Yeah, we'll get to Hurts in a second. But Keaton
Mitchell was the first down run.
Yeah, we'll get to Hurts and the Eagles in a second. But just if you're an Eagles fan, you want to come and gloat, bring it tonight because you guys can all go fuck yourselves. And we'll get into that in a little bit.
Keaton Mitchell handled. They didn't run a lot. I mean, it was a lot of Lamar Jackson running or passing on the last few drives, but he was the only running back I'm seeing on the long drive. The long drive, we had some Justice Hill, 3 straight Justice Hills inside the red zone, and then just a shitload of Lamar. Gus did get a run on that. But, yeah, it's going to be all 3 guys, but hopefully it's a little more Mitchell. He's got, like you said, he's got the juice. He's got more sauce. And I'm out of sauce at this point. I'm running out of
Eagles. The Eagles do own me. I have now lost against them with the Cowboys and with the Chiefs and now the Bills. Yeah, that's 3. All 3.
I don't quite understand. Somebody in the chat said this. He's like, you know what? I have the Eagles rated really highly, but I also understand that they've gotten really lucky with a few things. It's like, yeah, that's
the
fair.
Eagles.
Like, yeah, it's a very good team that has gotten.
They're making all the right decisions, schematic, in game.
Make your own luck.
They're making their own luck, and they're also getting very lucky.
Yeah. I don't like to be the guy who brings up the refs too much, but it didn't feel like it was very. And a lot of those penalties were just like shit. You have to call that, but Philly just wasn't getting called for anything for a while there.
Yeah, that's part of the home field advantage of Link. Yeah, that's built into the price. All right, you ready for the? Let's go.
Yeah, let's get pop into that. Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the deep dive, where this is the Eagles world, and we're all living in it. Andy, they can't do anything wrong. No one else can do anything right. If it weren't for the Lions just giving me a healthy Thanksgiving serving of suck, I would be even more upset about the Eagles picking my pocket for the 3rd straight game. But I
tried to get a serving of that too. But
how did the Bills lose?
Your family's downstairs.
Yeah, right. All right. Let's start with a little bit of reflection on Thanksgiving.
Oh shit! I forgot about all those games. That feels like it was a month ago, Drew.
Rapid fire. You ready?
Yes.
The Packers deserve to win by margin. They showed up. The Lions did not. That is an indictment on Dan Campbell, and he should wear that loss.
And Love looked better than it wasn't just the Lions playing shitty. Love did look a little better.
Yeah, that was his best game as a pro. The Commanders Cowboys was a little lopsided scoreline. Tough to read too much into that. Commanders probably a little bit better than their 13.5 point closing rating or whatever the fuck that was. No real thoughts on that game.
No, I mean, Howell threw for 300 yards. They had 10 points. It was just they weren't finishing things, and we got another defensive touchdown, and Dallas is just much, much better.
Okay. The Seahawks are mega fucked. Like turbo fucked.
Could be turbo fucked.
And the Niners are turbo legit, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was a road game at night with a division foe in a spot that is traditionally a really good home field advantage. And it was 24-3 at one point. I mean, the touchdown after that was a pick six. It's not like their offense got going. Their offense scored the 2 field goals. Yeah, their offense really looked rough. And obviously that's a very tough defense, but man, at home you got to be a little better than that. And there's a chance that Seattle finishes behind Los Angeles at this point. They have an easy
There's a chance
schedule.
they lose that. No.
They have an easy
they don't.
schedule, but they haven't.
Seattle?
Oh, no. Yeah, they have a toughie.
Yeah, Seattle could lose out. Yeah.
So that was the reason I wanted to back them to miss the playoffs. But I just kept looking at Minnesota and LA and all these other teams. Like, I need 2 teams to finish better than them.
Yeah.
Feels like a big ask, even with LA winning today. But yeah, turbo fucked feels about right.
The next 3 games for Seattle, Andy, at Dallas, at San Fran, home Eagles. Do they finish inside of double digits in any of those 3 games? Probably not.
Ish. Friday afternoon game was not good either.
That'll be 6-9, 6-8. 6-8 Seattle Seahawks at that point. With Tennessee, Pittsburgh, and Arizona to finish. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, another one where Tua wasn't at his best, but it didn't matter because they were playing.
Yeah, he tried to blow that game. He tried to blow that cover.
So, and this is the weird thing about the psychology of running a team. There's nobody in the organization who thinks Tim Boyle gives you a better chance to win than Zach Wilson. There's nobody with that believes that in their heart. It's just one of those things where you have to appease the fans. You have to make a change. And it's so stupid. It's like, we are going to do these fans a favor by getting worse. And they're going to run him out there again. I should find his stat. They not only that, but the game plan of dropping him back 38 times plus the sacks. So probably 40 dropbacks.
What are we doing?
Brees Hall didn't have a great game either. That's the biggest takeaway.
How was he? They have no offensive line.
Yeah, I know. And then that's the biggest takeaway.
No blocker.
Their offensive line is so beat up and destroyed. Nothing else matters. But I still think Miami's defense is getting a lot better. It's just hard to tell because that wasn't really a good bellwether for anyone.
I'm sure we'll figure out this week against Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
On to Sunday.
Let's go down. Start with Houston, Jacksonville. This was a consequential game. The Jacksonville Jaguars didn't effectively clinch the AFC South, but they might as well have. It felt like Houston was going to win this game for a lot of the contest. Jacksonville left them. They let them hang around and hang around and hang around. They missed some field goals. They gave them some explosive plays. Texans could not ultimately get it to the window on the money line. The decision to attempt a 58-yard field goal by Matt Amendola, whose career high was 49, didn't feel great in the moment. And then seeing it donk off of the crossbar like he just needed 6 more inches, that was tough.
Yeah, Brad brings up a good point going back to the Miami game.
Yeah.
I also watched that video 1,000 times. It's crazy how I can watch just macabre shit. Like
that's a good point.
The whole leg just wobbling as that tendon snaps. Oh.
Not good.
Stroud had a really good day. Just wasn't good enough, I guess. I mean, he had like 300 yards, another 50 on the ground. It felt like just Jacksonville showed up. Stroud didn't throw picks. We'd seen. God, who is the running back up there now?
Second half over got there, Tio. Yes, it did. It was 25 points were scored.
Who's the retread we have in?
I didn't even need those 6 inches. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I did play that second half over.
Second half over got there.
24 you had to pay
24.
for. But it was a cheap 24. Why can't I think of the running back who had a couple nice weeks and then just gave us nothing today?
Singletary,
there you go.
He really had a little going through the air, but he had nothing going on the ground.
No, but on the ground, they didn't really get anything outside of CJ Stroud, which was a bit of an issue. They played a better team, probably. And they've been doing a really good job. And if you follow like charting Twitter or like football, X's and O Twitter, whatever we want to call it, they've been really deep into the, hey, we're moving Calvin Ridley around, and that's how we scheme him open. And shit, if that's not working, I don't know. That is working well. Like, the offense is markedly better now that they're moving around a little more. They have all the receivers back. It's a good offense. It can hang with teams. I'd like to see a rematch with the Niners, like now. I don't think they win, but I don't think they get embarrassed like they did. So,
yeah, that's fair. Tampa, Indy, 20-17. Tampa teaser legs get home. Unfortunately, if the other half of the teaser was the Lions, it's a loss. So yeah.
I put it with Atlanta today because my Lions would have died. So I'm like, I need another leg here. I ended up putting this into some teasers.
Although it felt like it should have flown over.
That was a dicey teaser leg at time. Baker was fine, but I mean, Indy coming off rest, and then those defensive pieces, Dean and who's the other? Nakobe Dean and I can't think of the other linebacker. I'm blanking today.
Watching the game.
Yeah, kids got me sick again. My brain is full of Dayquil.
Which game are you
Tampa Bay, the missing defensive players, like that mattered. Like we saw Minshew look good. We saw Jonathan Taylor have a pretty decent day. And I guess that was some of the reason we saw some of the steam. Was just the defensive injuries you had for Tampa Bay. Levante David, thank you, Rob. I know it was just like a first name, last name. David. They both have first name, last names. Dean
Jamel
and
Dean. Jamel Dean was also out. Levante David. Two guys with 2 first names.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I was trying to get to it. And I couldn't do it in my brain.
Carlton Davis did he play? Because that's another guy with 2 first names.
That is true. Yeah.
Did he play?
I think so. That teaser leg was
How about
dicey.
Ryan Neal? Did Ryan Neal play? That's another guy with 2 first names.
God, we could do this all day with this.
Ryan Neal? Did Ryan Neal play?
Big fourth down call. I don't think we needed it to respect Steichen more. We're definitely thinking he's the cream of this class so far. Even if they're not getting the results, he's down to Minshew at this point. He's doing the best he can with a backup quarterback. But Steichen's call on that 4th and 1 where they hit the long play, that was nice. Nakobe Dean is Neagle.
You're thinking of Jamel Dean. I know.
Jamel Dean, yeah. Thank you, Kevin. This is where my brain's at. I almost called it.
What happened with Mayfield and Trask? Because I see there was one attempted pass.
So Mayfield got buried on like a QB sneak down in the goal line situation. Just fucking buried. And I don't know what the injury was, but they did have to, he was on the ground, so they took him out for a play or two. And he did come back on the next drive. He was fine.
We just had an incomplete on 3rd and 11 by the Ravens. If that was underthrown, it would have almost certainly been a pass interference.
Yeah,
because it was overthrown.
Flacco's sitting at home just shaking his head.
Because it was overthrown.
What are you doing?
No flag.
But no, good job. Big win for Indy, I guess. I don't know. Like if they're excited about wins at this point, they're.
I mean,
not
everyone
really
else who's trying to go get an AFC wild card can basically say thanks for nothing in Tampa.
Yeah,
Like you leaving Indy hanging in the
now.
wild card mix is going to screw some team for sure.
It'll
Denver,
be
Vegas, Cincy, Pittsburgh, like these teams are all screwed if Indy keeps winning. Houston.
What if we get? How sad is it just for like people who watch football and enjoy football like us if we end up with Gardner Minshew and Kenny Pickett in the playoffs, but not Josh Allen and Justin Herbert
and Joe Burrow?
I mean,
yeah, just
Herbert,
an absolute atrocity. Yes,
unless they turn this around, yeah, and obviously that sucks too. But unless they turn this game around, Chargers going to be 4-7. And tied with the Jets and Titans. I mean,
you were super excited for the 2-7-6-3 in the AFC. You thought you were going to get Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow. Oh, sorry, it's Kenny Pickett and
Kenny Pickett heading to Jacksonville.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
so Kenny I think Pickett. The Ravens would reclaim
Kenny
the
Pickett. Andy, Kenny Pickett's headed to Jacksonville. It's a revenge game. He lost 20-10 earlier this season. Can he get his revenge against the Jacksonville Jaguars? The world tunes in to find out.
I mean, it's not like I'm not going to watch every second of all the playoff games.
I know, but the degree of difference between that and Bengals Bills, like
for sure.
Oh yeah. All right. New England Giants. 10-7.
Get that fuck out of here. Don't even bring why would you even bring that up? You have that little respect that you want to talk about that game.
I don't want to talk about that game. I don't want to talk about that game. I don't want to talk about that game. Right? The old saying of if you have two quarterbacks, you have none feels very pertinent for the Patriots right now. Right?
It's not like Zappy was better.
No, he was terrible. What I want to talk about that game is that the market was hot Patriots.
Hot for the Patriots in that one.
Excuse me?
So that one
riddle me.
Was there game day buyback? How did that market shape up? No,
I saw 4.5 when I looked, and I thought I was tripping balls. I was
look ahead was 5, and then it opened. For the most part, opened 3.5.
Oh, there was threes to be had all week long.
There was threes to be had early in the week, and then the 20. Up until yesterday, it was like 3.5, and it got bet out to 4.5, and higher. Mm-hmm. There was some hunger in the market for New England, and I get it, but man, if you had to give me like one good thing about the Giants at this point, I'd say like the defensive front can probably get some pressure on a bad quarterback. I waffled on this under. I can't believe I didn't take it. I feel dumb as I watch just two inept offenses.
This is just
even the touchdown by the Giants was like a 24-yard drive. Guys.
Did you watch Iowa, Nebraska?
No, God, no.
This felt like this must have been about as entertaining, right?
I went to a high school game. It was way better. There was like 50 points in that one.
I mean, this felt Iowa, Nebraska-esque. All right. Fuck, somebody bet the shit out of New England. I would like when you write your memoir, send me a copy. I will read it. I'm dying to know why. Carolina, Tennessee, another game that happens.
Yeah, there were some people complaining about the early slate. There was some Bryce Young still not good. Will Levis still not good. That said, neither of them had horrible days. They didn't make massive glaring mistakes as much as we've seen. They just, I think this probably came down to Tennessee had a better running back. Derrick Henry made a few plays. Derrick Henry was able to punch a couple in, and it was a team that went. These two teams were perfect in the red zone. A perfect combined 3 of 3.
Oh my God!
Love seeing that.
And there were 27 points.
Yeah, neither team got to 300 yards of total offense. And Tennessee was the better team. Just I feel like I'm gonna have to double check this. But I feel like they were in a lot of 3rd and longs. They were 2-11 on 3rd down. Won the game. Good job, guys.
Jesus Christ.
Levis is not the future. Like they're gonna have to go either.
Let's
figure
talk
out,
about the future.
Are we getting Tanny back? What at his age, or are we doing somewhere else? Because you've now drafted 2 quarterbacks in 2 years, and both of them look like that's not going to work out. And Tannehill is a free agent, correct?
Yeah.
At the end of the year,
as far as I know,
they have some big decisions to be made at the end of the year.
Dude, Staley punting.
He's a coward. 4th and 1.
I guess it's good for the under. What the fuck?
They haven't been. It was a good punt too. They haven't been getting a good push up front for the.
You're down 10 points. Your defense. I guess your defense is doing fine. Ugh.
What's the next game? I don't want to talk about the Tampa or Tennessee anymore.
Well, I was just gonna close some commentary on Pittsburgh Cincinnati. The future.
Did that game up yet?
No, that's next. For the future of quarterbacking is
AI. Get some robots.
It's not Kenny Pickett. That said, they fired Matt Canada, and lo and behold, Pittsburgh Steelers generated 400 yards of offense for the first time since 2020, Andy.
Little miffed they couldn't get to 17 points.
So what the hell? You know who else is miffed? Mr. Tomlin, because that is all he asked for. They said, what kind of adjustments do you want? He said, more points. 16 is not enough, which means that we have more work to do. He better give those guys the business, and we need more points next week.
Probably a bad break for us. Like they drove down into the red zone. So this is how you lose a low team total under. A team that scores, or a team that has 421 yards, for the most part, a median projection for points for that team should be 28.
Yes.
They got 16. And I mean, a lot of it was just, that's what I'm saying. A lot of it was bad breaks. You go down there, you drive to the red zone. You're 1 for 4. You fumbled and lost.
It was a Jalen Warren fumble that really, really set the tone.
15-yard line.
Oof.
Yep, 15-yard line. That was a fumble. They kicked a field goal from the 23-yard line after that.
Ugh.
And then it was punt. They did have their nice touchdown drive. But then, the 2 drives after that, it was a field goal from the 16 and a field goal from the 15. Yeah. So they did drive the field quite often. They just couldn't punch it in. Probably going to need to do that if you want to be good teams. That said, you're 7-4 somehow. You're the 5 seed. You are the best wild card team. And honestly, if I'm looking at quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett's probably better than DTR / PJ Walker and Minshew.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's crazy.
He's a hot fade in the playoff start, though. All right, so the moment of the game that really I want to highlight on here, I bet Pittsburgh when they were -1.5, widely available. You know what I typically do when the team I want to lay points with is -1.5.
You sell out.
Sell out
3?
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. Take the
Couldn't
10,
do it with this
10
team?
15 cents. No, I did. And you know what the happiest moment for me watching this game was? When Zach Taylor elected to kick the field goal at 4th and 2.
Yeah.
Instead of continuing to go for that touchdown drive. Because I was literally like,
I wonder like, too if
this has all of the recipes of the Steelers, letting them bleed clock, score a touchdown, and the Steelers win by 2. And I'm gonna get blanked on selling here. Like,
I wondered too if it was just like, fuck it, our season's over. Like, I'm not this win. I'm just gonna kick this field goal. I don't need anyone second guessing.
Yeah. But I was literally watching the onside kick, like, get the hands team out there. No Nelson Aguilar, none of that. And then they on the broadcast they didn't wind the clock after Pickens completed the recovery and was like pushing the pile. And I was like, why aren't they running the clock? Like, I need this game to end. I need this game to end. But ultimately that was
there's Keaton Mitchell for like 20 yards.
Yeah. And this is the classic state of affairs when you have a Pittsburgh Steelers team that had over 200 yards, more offense, gained 6.2 yards per play, tied the turnover battle. None of this mattered. It was still in the balance very late here, which was frustrating. I guess I got to ask you, TJ Watt made one play in this game. I guess he got two. He accrued 2 sacks.
Forgettable compared to what I saw on Thanksgiving.
Good.
We're just talking our book, but
what do you think?
It's not. It's not like it's not like we should give either team credit for.
Should we get to Browns before we comment on DPOA?
Yeah. Because there's a bad injury. Garrett might not play.
Let's keep going.
But real quick, obviously, nice kind of bounce back from a bit of a beleaguered Najee Harris. He had a nice day.
Sure.
Fryer
ran with purpose.
Who saw
he
that?
Ran with purpose. He ran like he was losing his job to Jalen Warren because he fucking did.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. It's like, the other kid's getting to run the ball all the time. How many targets do you think Pat Freiermuth had today?
8. It felt like they targeted him constantly.
11. If Kenny Pickett threw the ball.
11? It was 11 targets?
One out of every 3 balls he threw went to Pat Freiermuth. 9 catches, 120 yards. Really good day for him. Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Oh, my
And then, obviously, it was a good job on Cincinnati covering the teaser leg for folks. That one was a scary one I didn't love. What are you looking
Weird happenings in the Ravens game.
Yeah, that was a bad play. Like, that should have been a pick.
There were two of them. All right. I don't want to talk about this game.
What is it?
Saints Falcons.
I had the Falcons as a teaser. I wanted them to lose. I still wanted the Saints to win. Carr, did you watch much of this? I wanted your opinion on how Carr felt coming off the injury, and that's the thing too. When you had Ludacris coming at halftime, that's not great for your Saints.
Lick you from your head to your toes.
I want to move from the bed down to the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carr was injured coming off the bye, though. He said he was okay. I don't know. Like, he wasn't good.
I was wildly unimpressed with everything I saw, coaching and decision making from the Saints. The first half, I thought, told the entire story, which was Saints field goal, pick 6, field goal, Falcons touchdown, field goal. They picked off Desmond Ridder at the half. Didn't matter. Too little, too late. But just the fact that you were moving the ball pretty comfortably on your opponent and it didn't matter. You weren't scoring was a problem. Yeah. They outgained the Falcons by about 50 yards today. They beat them in yards per play, 6-6 to 6-4. They tied in turnovers 2-2, although the consequential
turnovers. Did you happen to catch how they did in the red zone today?
Much more significant. Yeah, I got those numbers. Do you know those numbers?
0 for 5.
0 for 5. So 5 trips to the red zone, 0 touchdowns scored.
That is how you outgain a team by 50 yards and still lose by 2 scores. Well, a pick 6 helps too, but yeah, 0 for 5 in the red zone plus a pick 6. Falcons really ran the ball well. They ran for over 200 yards as a team. Second straight week of seeing a little more heavier Bijan Robinson. He had like 22, 23. Let's see. He had 6 targets, 16 carries. So they're trying to get him the ball a little more, getting him involved. There's still moments where it's like a high leverage play and they have a weird personnel grouping in there. I still don't trust Arthur Smith completely.
Yeah. I will say that 3 more field goals and the Saints would have tied it.
I would have, like a 15-14 win would have been very funny to me. It would have. I feel like it was the Saints who won a game that way with Teddy when Breeze missed a big chunk of time. Teddy had to come in and he won like 6 games in a row or something stupid. And they won a game with nothing but field goals with 2 gloves. I'm gonna have to go back. If somebody has that, remind me of that. That was a fun game. But yeah, you probably gotta punch them in. It's been all year with these guys. This isn't some like, oh, they just had a bad day in the red zone. The play calling stinks down there. You're not able to get this, you're not able to get the easy stuff you get with Kamara in the middle of the field down there. So shit just isn't gonna happen.
That's right. Rams were hot side today, Andy. They didn't get bet to 3, but they got bet to close to 3. And then they just dropped the ever-loving hammer on the Cardinals on the road.
30 unanswered after they were down.
Didn't see that coming. Did not see that coming. Stafford had 4 touchdowns today. He had to be the most prolific passer of anyone in the NFL, I would assume.
I'm not even sure he had that many yards. True.
No, it was only 229, but 4 touchdown passes. Does anyone else have 4 touchdown passes? I don't think so.
It's a pretty good day.
Yeah, it's a good day. Kyron Williams back mattered a lot.
Speaking of kids,
did he matter a lot?
Yeah, he missed a full month or better, 4 or 5 weeks, and he looked to have a little bit of pop, a little bit of burst.
Royce Freeman, complimentary. It didn't even matter.
That's
a huge part of the.
We didn't get to this either. Yeah, Olave injured. Rashid Shaheed, I struggle with him. He hurt his thigh. I don't know if it's a quad injury. He exited the game. Olave was a concussion. Lynn Bowden he missed some snaps. It's like a 5th receiver. The center came out, I think, at one point. They did get kind of beat up. So if Carr's not good and they're going to be down all their receivers,
disastrous day.
The dream may finally be over.
Disastrous day.
I don't have a lot to say. I didn't watch much of this Cardinals game. I didn't have action.
No,
I was catching it mostly on Red Zone when the Rams kept scoring.
No, you were probably. Did you take a deep breath at one point and be like, "Oh, glad I didn't bet the Cardinals"?
I swore you had tried to talk me into this over, or somebody talked about this over, and I was looking at it, I'm like, oh man, I feel like it might get screwed by the blowout, but then the Cardinals did get a late score to put it over the 45 there.
Only total I played pre-flop all week was Bills, and we're getting there, and that got there.
70 points now, and something to monitor. Cup came in without a designation, but then exited for parts of the time.
Are they better without him?
I don't know what they were looking at.
Kyron Williams matters more than Cooper Kupp. Is that where we are right now?
Tutu Atwell's a nice piece, a nice little deep piece. He had a fucking 40-yard key. Kyron Williams had like six targets as well.
Yeah, he had 200 yards of total offense.
200 yards from scrimmage. Yeah. Very, very good day.
He was incredible.
Again, not one I watched. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Speaking of 200 yards of offense, I think the Cleveland would have been happy with 200 yards of total offense. They ended up with 269. Okay. All right. They must have got some garbage time yards. Actually, wow, how about that? Cleveland had more first downs today than the Denver Broncos. Yards per play, though, 3.8 is quite poor. 3 turnovers, not going to get it done. 8 penalties for 66 yards, not going to help. 1 of 3 in the red zone, not going to do it. Browns lose 29-12. I had some Broncos this week. I'm surprised that no one ever came to support me market wide on this one.
That really didn't get any steam. They were underdogs at halftime. I watched parts of this game, and I went and checked the box score and looked, and I ended up betting on Denver second half at like plus 120.
Credit to whoever.
Cleveland did drive the ball a little bit.
They did. I think the total was right, though. The total got steamed to the under all week, right? In fact, some NBOS total originator out there saw 41 and said, no, 40, no, 39, no, 38, 37 and a half. Okay. Stop. And it landed 37, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I had respect to whoever.
And it was the score, Tommy.
It was
29-12. That's pretty. That's
a weird one.
It's a funky score.
That's a good one. Oh, we had a score Gami and I missed it.
Yeah, you did.
Damn it.
Yeah, that total did take steam.
Okay.
But I guess I mean, if you want to complain about anything, the starting quarterback got knocked out. But then I would laugh and say the starting quarterback was DTR, buddy. Chill.
Okay, so two things.
The safety got it wrong.
You
Yeah, there
can't.
was a late
Yeah,
safety.
you can't get excited about the Denver defense off this. You can't get excited about Denver's playoff chances off this. But you can throw an enormous bucket of ice water on the Browns, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have a good record. They're technically still the 6th seed right now. But the way the Texans, the Broncos, the Bills, it feels
like you're naming teams that just beat the Browns.
I mean, I'm naming teams that likely will catch them and knock them out. Like I would love. So I'm fine with the Steelers in the playoff. Whatever. Like I'm just exhausted with them. It's fine.
You give up.
If we could get the
Texans, you're an inevitability.
If we could get at least the Texans and like the Bills in as the other wild cards, please. I'd like to see some fun quarterbacks.
Texans would be huge.
I don't need a Gardner Minshew game.
We really need the Texans in the playoffs because we want CJ Stroud to get his feet wet. And I got to also.
He needs a good.
We didn't say this
ass whooping in the playoffs.
We didn't say this during the Jags Texans recap, but we got ourselves a little fucking rivalry there.
Yeah,
Stroud Lawrence.
They both beat each other at home or on the road.
Stroud Lawrence for the next 5-10 years is maybe appointment television. Like that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I would like to see the Texans secure a 7 seed. That would be fun.
I'm not betting it. It's not financial advice. It's just more of Andy cheering for, hoping they do make it in the playoffs. That would be a lot more fun than, and yeah, Jonathan Taylor, and there's some fun play pieces on that team too. But I'd much rather see CJ Stroud in the playoffs. So I am speaking that into existence as we go. And yeah, the Browns probably, I don't know. Let's take a look at the Browns schedule real quick to see what's going on. So they have the Rams at the Rams next week.
At Rams, and by the way, they're spending the week on the West Coast. I was told.
Yep. At Rams, Jags at home, Bears at home. You can probably, I don't know, but we'll see where the Bears are. 1 and 2 there, so you're at 8 and 6.
Shit, man, they're gonna need to win their last 2 games to get in.
At the Texans,
Houston's not happening.
Versus Jets at Bengals. Man,
you're at 1 and 3 heading into the final 2 weeks of the season. So you're talking 8 and
Jets
6,
Bengals
right?
are winnable games.
They're winnable games. Yeah, they definitely are winnable games.
Oh, gross! We're gonna have DTR in a playoff game.
Oh no! Please no.
All right, what's the next one?
Buffalo, Philly. Give me your honest take on this one. Do you have any Buffalo in this game, or did you just play some over? Do you
just
play
the
anything
over. And I reloaded it.
Give me
I reloaded on this team.
Give me talk turkey. Talk turkey. Talk turkey. The right side was what?
The over. I mean,
well, yeah, obviously.
Do you want a side? I've been very, very impressed with the Eagles in the second half the last couple weeks. The play calling and sequencing, and I mean, up until a couple certain spots. I mean, we talk about the penalties being lopsided. Some of that is coaching too. Like, I respect the shit out of Sirianni. Like, well-coached teams don't have as many penalties. Buffalo had 500 yards though. Like, kind of at a spot where I can say all these nice things about play calling and getting the most out of your yards. You know, like we saw that with the Saints. Those are empty yards. The same with Pittsburgh. Good, you had 400 yards, you scored 16 points. Those are empty yards. Like, the Eagles seem to make the most of their drives for the most part, and they are a well-coached team. They all got outgained by 120 yards. They had more turnovers than Buffalo. Buffalo had more first downs. Buffalo had the ball for 40. Like, I feel like Buffalo probably let a game they should have won slip through their hands here. And they were looking very good in the first half. Philly came out between second half and overtime. They scored 30 points? Yeah, they had 7 at halftime. Like, a big part of that is just Buffalo is probably not rostered really well to protect the lead. I don't know how you feel about their running game outside of, like, Josh Allen was electric. He was so good today at times, especially some of his scrambles. Some of his scrambles late that mattered were so good. But you don't have a defense, obviously, to protect the lead. This defense is very gettable. And if you're not able to convert some third downs, like even that final drive where they the penultimate drive where they kicked the field goal in overtime. Every first down was a fucking wasted down. They should just kneeled. Like, 1 yard run by Cook, 0 yard run by Cook. Bad pass scheme play. Like, every first down was dead. It was the worst. I don't know what was going on. And they still drove the field and got the field goal at least. So Buffalo is probably the right side. This throws some serious wrenches in not only probably award markets. This hurts Dak because his chances of winning the division have taken a hit. This hurts, obviously Cowboys futures. This hurts anything you have with Detroit or San Francisco. The fact that the Eagles got 2 wins over 2 premier-ass teams is pretty tilting.
In 2 games where they were outplayed.
Yeah, in 2 games that they needed big, damn near perfect second halves to get it done. They needed a ball dropped last week. They needed Josh Allen to screw up a few things, and they needed overtime luck. So, yeah, the Eagles are good, but would not surprise me if something bad happened to them in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, no, they're a bit fragile when it comes to needing this sort of thing to happen to go their way against good teams, and they're down 10 to San Francisco at home or something, and just it doesn't work out or something along those lines. So I don't know. I watched almost all of this game, and I still want to watch it again. And yes, and get your 3.5, I guess, if you bet San Francisco. If you bet Buffalo, there was 3.5s available for large portions of the betting cycle to many, many people at many, many books. So, did you see that? Did you see that play?
We had a hook and ladder.
I don't know what it was like. Just a lateral.
Oh, nice. Eckler did convert.
Who's the person on Twitter that swears by the fact that, like, the team that brings in rugby coaches and learns how to lateral better, it'll just, like, win the Super Bowl?
That's a fun concept. I would love to see it.
It really is.
All right.
It's got to be. It would be impossible to defend.
All right. So I don't have much more to add on Bills Eagles.
Bills had 500 yards. That's it. That's the takeaway.
There were so many opportunities for them to make that, the margin bigger before it even got there. The fact that Allen threw that horrific pick in the fourth quarter to go down was like, oh God, here we go again. And they put together a nice drive and take the lead. And then, it was pretty clearly it was going to be tough for the Bills defense to hold on, both in regulation and then in overtime. Disappointing that Sean McDermott didn't see the more. Actually, you know what the most disappointing moment of the entire game for Sean McDermott is, and there were many. The guy is a damn dunce, honestly. Like, I'm way over him. The most disappointing moment, I think, was you get the ball back with 20 seconds left. You just literally fired 2 timeouts into the goddamn ether, right? If there was anyone on earth who should recognize the value of 20 seconds with an elite quarterback, you know who it should be? It should be Sean McDermott, because he has been exactly there on the other side. And he had no urgency. He was like, let's take it to overtime. We're on the road.
bad things happen to teams that do that. The one that sticks with me because it hurt young Andy in the heart was the Vikings did that with Atlanta in '98. Said we'll go to overtime. And that's back when overtime was fucked too, where you just lost the coin toss and sometimes you never touched the ball.
Yeah. And honestly, like the Scoobs is right. That's Buffalo football. Like this isn't like an anomaly anymore. We have like 10 examples of McDermott just completely bottling end of game decision making. It's a lot. This is an epidemic. This is not a one of. This is bad.
I think Belichick tried to lose the game.
Oh, man. Belichick gets a gold star for his execution at the end of the game, guys. Don't kid yourselves.
They played for a field goal for a reason. That was because otherwise that was ugly.
Don't kid yourself. All right. No, but
we should give Elliott some shine to come out there in the rain and nail that kick.
Oh God, dude, I couldn't believe he made that either.
I was
58-yarder. That thing was swirling, it fucking tailing off. Like he had to put some English on that just to get it through. That was unbelievable. I don't know why Sirianni went for that kick. Honestly, I was like, oh wow, okay, you're really gonna put your kicker. I guess you don't want to win. Okay. I will say this: are they going to call this back, or was that a correct?
No, it was clearly backwards. It was a terrible challenge.
Nice work by him. All right. So the general kind of experience of seeing this happen and seeing the Bills money line lose sucked, but the butterfly effect of this was way worse. Like, I don't want to take juice away from the 1 seed race in the NFC. There's not much else going on right now. No, like you know what?
Even if the Niners trounce them, they still have a full game lead.
No, I don't want an AFC playoff picture without Josh Allen. Like this was a bad outcome if you were a football fan. This was a bad outcome if you're a football fan. I promise you that. And I will tell you that the general, like, you tell me if I'm crazy. Did today, particularly with the way that the morning games didn't have much juice and then the light game only had one good game, like, did that have like week 17 whiffs to you? Like from back in the day, week 18? Didn't it kind of feel like this is the last week of the season and none of these games really matter?
I mean, the fact that like Jacksonville, Houston had a little juice. Like, it's like, I'm always hesitant to complain about football. As long as there's one game per like window that's watchable, like, I'm fine. Because then you watch that one on the TV and you have the other TV on like Red Zone and everything else, and then all the other stuff just kind of trickles in. You don't have to worry about those games too much. But like, yeah, I mean that was a banger. It was a really, really good game. Hurts that draw. I mean, just it's not like this is breaking news, but they do scheme some pretty good runs for him. That draw play for the win. Warren Sharp actually tweeted the video, and depending on how you feel about him, it's whatever. But I should give him credit for this because he was the first one I saw tweet this out. But on that draw play, Kelsey snaps the ball and pulls out so fast to push a D end or an outside linebacker backwards so that draw play works. It's crazy. He's like 40. Like that was the point that Sharp
he owed him because he freaking false started twice.
Yeah, he did false start twice, but man, he moves pretty quick for a man of that age. So good on Kelsey, and that was just a really well drawn up play.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, once the Eagles were inside the 30, you kind of knew it was over. I just kind of tuned out. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that overtime drive was clinical.
All right. Any other general thoughts on the slate before we move on? I think Kansas City, Vegas is another game.
No, I mean somebody had brought up Myles Garrett. We hadn't gotten to the DPOI stuff.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I went past.
He couldn't get his shirt off. He couldn't put his shirt on. He needed help.
His quotes post game
left in a sling. He felt the pop. It could be I'm now a Twitter doctor. I might do that where I just like start diagnosing it and list like 10 things.
Do you have a white jacket?
I'm calling it a torn labrum.
Torn
I'm
labrum.
gonna have my wife steal one from the hospital tomorrow.
You think that was a torn labrum?
I don't know. That's just what I'm calling it. I'm a Twitter.
Let me take another look at it, and I'll tell you. I'm gonna give you my diagnosis. You ready?
Okay.
Interesting. You think torn labrum, huh?
It could be an AC joint injury.
Could be. I feel like it's a fracture, probably.
Pop?
Don't you think?
Either way, like that defense loses. That defense loses a lot of juice without him. Everything's juice this week. We talked about those are winnable games. That defense takes a decent step back without him. He is a big problem to scheme for. If you don't have to scheme for him anymore, it gets a little easier.
I feel like this is a displaced fracture to the glenoid. Don't you think? It looks like a displaced fracture to the glenoid to me, but what do I know?
The labrum majora in the shoulder.
I've watched it 3 times. I'm pretty sure this is a displaced fracture to the glenoid. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
third quarter.
We'll see him in 2024. The DPOY favorite when we see a market reopen, Andy, is who?
Micah P.
Whom?
I believe it'd be Micah P.
You think it should? Do you think it will be or it should be?
I think it will be, but I don't think he'll be a sizable favorite over Watt. Be close.
Do you think Watt is a bet if you have a big old bundle on Micah? Watt got 2 today, so he's at 13.5. He's going to be leading, isn't he?
Sacks. I think it's like a neck and neck type thing where it's like he's like 20 cents better,
Parsons is 11.5. I think Watt's 2 ahead. We haven't even seen Danielle Hunter.
I don't know. If you're scared, go to church. Deron Bland. So I've seen people bring that up. It's just it's like one play in 5 games. They're very sizable plays, but it takes a lot more than that. It feels like you have to have a bit of a known name beforehand. Like Dion got it 1 year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Probably
it's going to feel
tackles.
It's stuff on Gilmore won in our lifetime.
Yeah, that was I feel like that was a big stat year though. Didn't he have like 10 picks?
Was it that many?
Let's look.
He definitely did. You know what he didn't have, Andy? He didn't have 5 touchdowns.
No, I just don't know.
Promise you that. Yeah.
It's an amazing year. It just feels like it's a tough one to game logs. I want game logs. All right.
Gilmore had 6 picks.
Only 6 interceptions.
2 touchdowns. The year he won DPO. 20 passes defended. That's a lot.
50 tackles. I mean, that's a good year.
It's a big,
and it was
big
just
year.
a good defense. All right, you want to look ahead to next week?
Not really.
Do you want to talk Chicago, Minnesota Bears?
Yeah, sure. I played some Chicago.
I
wouldn't play.
I don't think Jefferson plays, man.
No.
He could surprise me, but I'm putting it like 80-20 no at this current point. They have the bye next week. It feels like they just rest him.
Yeah. Bland already has 13 passes defended, by the way.
Obviously,
he's gonna lap Gilmore's numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah.
Bland is gonna put Gilmore in a box. I think Mike Parsons is still the guy that gets it if Dallas gets voted in. I don't know. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Is Bland actually live?
I don't think so. It's fun, but it's.
I don't know, man. Voters are so stupid.
It's like Debo getting Offensive Player of the Year. Like,
not all the voters are stupid, by the way. There are some who I know that are very, very smart, smarter than us by a mile. But there are a lot that are stupid.
Oh, I hadn't seen any reports, Patrick. Thank you. Not expected to play.
Yeah,
voters
JJ's not playing. Did the Chargers do
numbers probably about right again?
Did they really?
Strip sack.
Oh, Christ. I thought getting 3 points out of this drive was going to feel like a loss. Getting 0 is going to be even
They're
worse.
charging. Last week was really
God.
something. I mean, they've charged before. For sure. So this is the thing
bad.
too. So this is my biggest case against Bland. In years past where you had to vote for a winner, I think there's some people that would have said, shit, I'm just going to give my vote to him. That's amazing. Now that there's ranked voting, I think people feel better about like, you know what, it's still like Micah and TJ, but I'm giving Bland a third place vote because that's really something. Like giving him that second or third place vote feels like you're doing him a solid without having to vote for a guy you hadn't heard of before the year started.
You know who I want to just put on blast right now? The Chargers offensive line. What a phenomenal failure that unit has been. Seriously. This was like kind of expected to be borderline top 5 this year. They've invested a lot of draft capital, a lot of resources into that O-line. They're trash. This is a bottom 10, maybe bottom 5 unit, and they're healthy. That is embarrassing. I mean, Lindsley, maybe that he was the straw that stirred the drink for these guys, but this is awful. Terrible. What a joke. Unbelievable.
Not great.
Good for second half under.
Second half under is trending in a good direction at this point, though. I don't want to jinx it, but we are sitting on 3 touchdowns. Guess this one's going to overtime.
All right. Rapid fire. You ready?
Next week.
Yep. How is there any marginal difference in the team rating of Seattle and Washington? Why is Dallas only 8?
I mean, they both get the same amount of rest. It's in Dallas. I don't know. Why aren't we? I mean, I'm going to tease the shit out of that too, but Dallas has been beating teams like this by margin. Dallas and the over might be correlated.
Seattle. To say that there were times in that first half with Jason Peters on the field for the Seahawks where it was literally like, this is not a serious team. Like they're not trying.
Yeah, Jason Peters is, God bless him for trying, but it's
somebody in the coaching staff made the elective decision to put him out there. Guy can't walk. Like, what are we doing?
What does that say about who's coming in after him?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point.
Well, we may see the return of Abe.
Option. Oh boy.
We may see the return of Abe Lucas. That would be helpful. But yeah, Geno hasn't looked good. So a lot of teasers. Decent chance. There's a decent chance I punch my numbers up tonight and I make this a 10.
Speaking of, if Dallas was 13.5 on the close against Washington at home, why is Miami under 10 on the road?
A couple of stinky games by Tua.
I don't know, man. Dallas and Miami feel like carbon copy.
I know, but Tua hasn't had the best games. They've won despite him, especially that Raiders game. I mean, that was a 7-point win.
Defense playing better.
Defense is playing better. Phillips out. Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if that got bet up. That total. Look at that total though. 50. Are we getting? So we're getting.
Are we getting 17 points from Washington? Maybe not.
Well, that implies like 30-20. Are we getting 21 points out of the Commanders on this defense?
I don't think so. I
think 50 might be a little high, but obviously with Miami, it's a little sketch to be betting unders.
Ron Rivera, by the way, way to read the room, big boy. No fucking awareness whatsoever. Incredible. All right.
That's the thing too. Like they fired Del Rio. There's not going to be like some big change.
Oh, they fired Del Rio. Okay. Problem solved.
Oh, all better. Yep.
Okay.
We did it. We get the banner.
Mission accomplished.
We're on the warship there.
Big adjustment from Pittsburgh from 3 to 6. I don't get that. Did somebody get hurt in Arizona? Have we seen all we're going to see of Kyler Murray or something? Well, why are we adjusting 3.5 points here? What?
So, because they put up enough yards to score like 25 points today, right?
Yeah,
That's something. They have a good-ish defense. Cardinals did lose a cornerback today. I think that's about it. Like for in-game injuries, Starling Thomas, the 5th.
I hate the Chargers.
I didn't see anything else. Justin Herbert's in the injury tent.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's a lot of points.
Herbert's in the injury tent?
He got it.
Oh.
That is a lot of points for Pittsburgh, isn't it? Now it's at home.
Fuck ton, dude. Andy, how many points do the Steelers have to score to cover 6.5? 20,
23,
right?
20, 23.
Is that happening?
I mean, they put up the commensurate yards to do so this week. Like I said, if you divide their yards up by 15, you get like 28 points. I think they're capable of it. I'm not sure they have the red zone offense to do it.
All right. I'm going to sit on that one for a little bit.
I'm not excited to bet the Cardinals. If I had to bet that, I'd bet the under.
Dude, we have some terrible teams laying some massive numbers. Tampa's laying 6.5 against Carolina. That's a huge number for a terrible team.
I mean, the Carolina defense is getting healthier. It's not a bad defensive unit. That's
a number. I think that's Carolina or pass. God damn it! These are just atrocious games. I have no opinion on Detroit, New Orleans, but Detroit, really, we're still gonna say this team is good enough to lay 3.5. Okay, all right.
I mean, you're coming off 10 days rest,
dude.
Playing indoors, you still have a lot of offensive weapons, and the Saints are down Lattimore. And now probably all their receivers, every one of their good receivers is either already out or missed parts of the game with concussion or a ripped up quad. Like the Saints, how many points did the Lions need to score to cover 4? I would love to see some Saints money come in and get like a 3.5 on the head on the road. I'd probably back the Lions there.
Yeah.
Extra rest. I know they looked bad on Thursday, but I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt for the season.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of the Saints offense right now.
Cincinnati Jacksonville looked a lot better on paper a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my God. Where's DTR this week? He's in LA. Okay. 4.5 point dog. Jordan Love is catching 7 at home against the Chiefs.
How bad would you feel if you had that Raiders line today up 14-0?
Oh, terrible. Just terrible.
Nothing after that. That's already getting bet. I think some people are in Packers 7. That's
a big number for Jordan Love.
That's a lot at home, especially.
Yeah.
It's kind of strength and weakness both ways. Like the Packers offense hasn't been great. Kansas City's defense is okay, and then the Chiefs wide receivers against a defense they can get.
Are you ready to get in bed with the Broncos on the road?
I bet the Broncos
3.
Bet them today.
They were at home today.
I know.
Now they're going to Houston, take on a real quarterback. Kind of interesting test for Denver. They've played some real quarterbacks lately, though. Most notably Mahomes twice and Josh Allen. So CJ Stroud shouldn't be too tough of a test. Big price though. God damn.
They have so many different young wide receivers they're using. I mean, it was a big Nico Collins game. You can't just pick your A1 stud and shut him down with Surtain. They have so many different ways they can attack you.
Over 46.
I don't hate that number.
Feel better?
I'm probably pretty close on that.
Over 46 feel better? Over 46 seem more fun?
I'm ready to get hurt again on a Texans total. Yeah, Denver's offense has been better. They should have had more points today. They were a little bad in the red zone. I'm gonna have to go look. What do you think their red zone numbers were?
You just run Justin Herbert more, man. That guy's got fucking wheels.
He doesn't look like he's going that fast,
God damn,
but he's like
wheels.
passing people. It reminds me of Robert Smith when he was.
I would love a touchdown here, and then we can just end this thing 13-10. Is that crazy?
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities.
Is that too much to ask?
What game was I just talking about? Denver?
Yeah, Denver or Houston.
I feel like Denver made it down to the red zone a few times. They were 3 for 5. Even they had that late drive, I suppose.
Houston's defense is no good. All right, San Francisco, Philly. Let's get serious. Do I have the stones to go against Philly again, or sit on the sidelines, watch San Francisco clown them, and be especially tilted next week? It's going to be tilted one way or the other. Which way should it go, Andy? Certainly not backing Philly in this spot, even though it's flipped across 0.
Niners rested. Still got to come into the link, though.
Lane
Still
Johnson going to be back, presumably. Bigger,
I don't know. If groin injuries can be, lingering, we'll find out that matters, especially against a ferocious front here from San Francisco. It's already getting bet out, Niners, but Niners with extra rest. The Eagles just played an overtime game. Let's see. The Bills had 92 offensive plays against that defense. Not a short week, but you're going up against a more rested team in a spot like this. I don't know. I'm not excited to go back or to back the Eagles here. It's probably San Francisco or nothing. What do you think of this total?
I think Niners can get there by them damn selves.
It's a tougher ask for Philly, but the way they've been finding ways to move, obviously, a way, way tougher defense than what's left of Buffalo. Be curious to see. I think we'll
says
see.
Niners O-line, Philly D-line is the game, but to me, Niners O-line matters
other
not
trenches.
at all. Like it really doesn't matter. Like
if you go look at the actual,
the Niners O-line,
they're bad at pass protection.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh, they've been horrible. You have one of the worst pass protecting offensive lines and one of the most efficient quarterbacks, and that is where I'm willing to give people the yes. He's a system quarterback in that regard. Like Shanny knows what he has. Yeah, Cox did exit the game. Fletcher Cox was out. Oh, man. Yeah, Niners team total over 24.5 or whatever it's going to be. Talk me to that.
This goal line series is going to make me fucking puke. Just get it. All right.
They got it.
End it. It would be just a lovely 5-minute drive, Ravens, Neil, victory formation. Please put this game out of its
5-minute drive. There's like 8 minutes left, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's 8 minutes left. I misread the clock.
I think it was a wishful thinking.
8-minute drive, victory formation. Is that too much to ask?
No. Not a lot of other takes on next week. Falcons, Jets. Falcons laying points on the road feels
Tim
bad,
Boyle is involved, so yeah.
Tim Boyle. That total is 35.
Oh my god. Who are the Patriots playing this week? Oh, they're playing the Chargers. Dude, the Patriots have full on fucking quit. The Patriots have full-throated quit. That probably moves across 7 if if there's a flurry of spunkiness here from the Chargers.
You have 4.5, don't you? I was going to tell you they went for 2 and didn't get it.
I wouldn't have. I would have been delighted by that because that makes it that much more likely that we got a nice long drive and the Ravens would go for it instead of kicking a field goal. All right.
Yeah, you did say it's the most obvious Ravens win by 3 spot. and it's for sure going to happen now.
Please. I don't ask for much. I'm not using my one time.
Yeah.
Not using my one time. There one time would have helped me out better in a lot of other times this year than this, but yeah, I would like a 3-point margin here. All right. Got a lot of thoughts about a lot of these games. We'll save it for Wednesday. How about that?
Yes. Interesting week, to say the least, guys. We'll see you Wednesday.
Real quick.
Actually, we'll catch you tomorrow, Monday.
Real quick. Give me your gut read. Ready? Just as fast as you can answer. AFC 1 seed is who?
Ravens.
Wow.
Just by attrition, man. Now they're gonna lose this game after I said that.
I put you on the spot. I wanted to know your gut reaction.
What do you think?
Yeah.
You know, my second answer would be is Miami.
Yeah, Miami's in pretty good shape because Miami's playing kind of shitty and they're still destroying. So if they click and they play well, they might win down the stretch.
We shit on the bottom part of the AFC, but the fun part is there are 4 teams live for the 1 seed we're in week 12. Yeah. There are 4 teams very live for the 1 seed.
Oh, yeah. That's the most fun thing going.
The Eagles losing would have been massive for the chase for that 1 seed. But that's not done. The Niners would win over the Eagles would give them that tiebreaker, and then they'd be down a game. And if the Eagles were to drop another game, suddenly that's a full-on thing. The Lions fucked up big, obviously, but the Cowboys are 8-3 as well.
It's a fun aspect of your Dolphins opinion. Their next 3 games are against the Commies, the Titans, and the Jets. They should win those by a combined net of 45 points.
Seems a little low.
Like they're gonna win their next 3 games by a combined 40 plus.
I forget the Ravens have this Jags Niners double dip.
Well, that's actually what I was gonna get at.
Double primetime games at Jacksonville.
After the Dolphinos go Commies, Titans, Jets, they get Dallas at home on Christmas Eve.
What a good
Ravens on the road on New Year's Eve, and then Buffalo Bills final week of the season. So it goes real pear-shaped for them at the end.
Baltimore is like the Vegas of the East Coast. That team's not going to. You can't go to Baltimore on New Year's Eve and not have fun. The team's going to be
Dude, have you ever been to Fells Point on New Year's Eve?
Never been to Baltimore.
My God. Fells Point on New Year's Eve. I mean, people rave about the gas lamp in San Diego.
It's funny. The one team, the only man to beat this Eagles team has been benched for Tim Boyle. Feels weird.
It does feel weird. All right, let's call it a pod. Job.
See you guys.
Job by you.
Hello.
Still pretty lousy. We got 10 points this half so far, right? 10 points so far. Is it 10-3 half?
Yeah, 10.